In Professor Walter Brueggemann's book on this pandemic crisis in which we are now living, he said we need to know that the Father's word to all of us in this time is always loving kindness. The Hebrew word Hesed. God is always the God of loving kindness. You know, there are many who say, well, this is God's judgment on America, or this is God's judgment on certain peoples, or this is God's judgment on your life if you get sick, and especially if you die. But we have no business at all determining the purpose of a judgment other than to say this, that wars and famines and pestilences in Israel's life were intended to reveal to them the loving kindness of God, so they would flee like the prodigal and come home to the place of feasting and joy and provision. My friends, there is real provision in the love of God for such a time as this. That provision is found when we come home. And one of the ways we come home is to learn to pray during this time. Not to pray simply that the pandemic would be lifted, though we certainly should, but that we pray in such a way that we're not expecting specific answers to our request, rather that we are establishing and reestablishing and deepening our relationship with Abba, that we are coming home to the Father's home, to His place of loving kindness and mercy, to receive His embrace, to lean upon His chest, and to learn of Him in the depths of our beings during a time of great confusion and death. The key to all of this, says Brueggemann, is that we are to come home to the God of covenant relationship, who made covenant with Israel to be His people even in their sinfulness. He did not break that covenant. It was unilateral, and that God was faithful even in their sinfulness. And He will not break the covenant He's made with the earth, with all peoples, and with those especially who in faith trust the Son of God. He will keep that covenant. He will always be a Father who welcomes you home. In this pandemic, go home. Go home to your Father. Go home to His table. Feast, eat, drink, receive blessing, and then turn from that table and give to all you can give, whether it's through social media, phone calls, or other means of communication. Learn once again to give in the spirit of God's love.